So coming up next to you guys, I have the Berserker Warrior build for general PvE purpose. Now for the Berserker, it deals 2 types of damage, the burning and the bleeding. Now the first build that I have in this video there are actually 2 builds, well, not necessarily 2 builds, there's just 2 ways that you can play it. The first one is the Burn PS, and the second one is what I call the ordinary Berserker Warrior. Now, so what the difference is? I think it will be more appropriate for me to touch on the first one, and then I'll move into the second one so that you can see the differences between the 2. So for the first one, the Berserker PS. What does PS stand for? PS stand for Firelight Strength. Berserker PS is tailored to the burn condition damage and providing the might boon support. Might is the boon that will allow you to increase your condition damage and also for the draw damage, and it attacks extensively, and thus it's making the events go smoother if you have the 25 might stacks. 25 might stack is the maximum amount of stacks you can go for, and because of that, if you have 25 might stacks, you can deal a lot more damage than what you usually do. And the might stack you can share to all the members of the group, and because of that, it is ideal for the group to have as many might stack as possible, like, you know, preferably stack as maximum amount, which is 25. And let me just say that for the record, as a usual commander for meta events, I appreciate anybody who play the Firelight Strength build, whether it is a classic Firelight Strength, which is raw Berserker build, or Zerg build, or in short is Zerg build, or you play it a Berserker PS. I appreciate that, because like you guys are the ones that are providing me with the might stacks that can help me deal more damage and also ensure that the group that I'm commanding goes smoother, and so thank you for that. Now the build that I received for the Burn PS came from the raid member, was provided to me by a raid member in my group, just for me to try something else different. Now he took it from Quantify group, you know, I'll include a link down in the description where he got it from, and so I build my characters, I build my warrior character to tailor to that build for the right environment. But then outside the right environment, I try to use it for general PvE build, and I have found it to be very effective when it comes to general PvE. Not only that, it will allows me to provide the might stack for my team members, but can also provide me with a lot of damage for my own sustained might stacks, but it can also deal a lot of burning condition damage as well. And so because of that, I make a little bit of a twist for general PvE, because obviously in general PvE, you know, you are facing with multiple factors, and it's not just and it's very different from raid. And so like I said in any of my videos, that I will not covering the raid aspect, and I'm just focusing on to the PvE environment. However, because I took this build from a raid perspective and I convert that to the general PvE build, and so there are some similarity that you will see from this build in the raid environment, but it's by no means it can be used in the raid environment, just to be very clear. And I like to just focus on the PvE aspect of this build, and so, you know, just to be very clear on that point. Alright, so without further ado, I will be touching on the equipments, and then I will be touching on the specializations, and also any others, you know, any other information that you need to know about this build. So here we go. For the Berserker PS, it is for the equipment itself, it is a hit and miss. You either like it or you don't. The reason why I'm saying this is because the equipment that I'm using for Berserker PS Warrior is everything Vipers. I am using equipment Vipers, the weapons Vipers, everything. Trinkets, accessories, rings, everything is full Vipers. Now, when it comes to the rune, a lot of people would dislike me for be saying this, but it's the fact that if you want to utilize the maximum potential of the Berserker PS, is the superior rune of aristocracy. Now this rune came from the Catechus Manor explorable mode dungeon, and when I say explorable mode dungeon, a lot of people would say like, that's content. Well, yeah, I understand that not many people like dungeons. Sure, that's a fair point. It can either be you know, either you like it or you don't. That's understandable. Now if you don't like to go with the maximum potential of the Berserker PS build, you can go for the secondary options, which is what I call the ordinary ones, which I will cover in a little bit later. So let's come back to this. This build will not only providing you with a lot of burning condition damage, but it can also provide you with a lot of mic stacks, and also you can provide a lot of support for all the members in the group. So I appreciate anybody who play this Burn PS Warrior build. And it's, like I said, it's not only helping the team members, but it can also helping a lot of people in the meta events, that you can provide them with a lot of mic stacks, and because of that, it just ensure the people dealing a lot of damage and also making the runs go smoother. And so I appreciate anybody who play this build. So the equipment, again, everything Vipers with the superior rune of aristocracy, and for the trinkets, I'm using everything Vipers. Weapons, again Vipers. Now for the weapons sigils, I am using the sigil of strength and sigil of earth. The sword and the torch, I put the sigil of strength on my sword and sigil of the earth on my torch. And for the longbow, I'm using the sigil of strength and sigil of earth. Again, both of them, both weaponry set, I am using Vipers, full Vipers, everything Vipers. Now for the build itself, I am using the let me go ahead and swap to my specialization. Okay, so for the specialization, I am using the arms, which is top, middle, middle. Now for the tactics, I'm using the bottom, bottom, bottom. And for the berserker, I am using the top, middle, middle. Now this will not only provide me with a lot of burning condition damage, but it can also provide the team members with the power, increase their power, increase their condition damage, and in the form of the my stat wounds. And so that's what I prefer to do for my warrior PS. And so again, let me just say that I appreciate anybody who's running this build for this Burn PS build with the superior rune of aristocracy, because it just make the team have a lot of mice, and so that just make the runs go fast, go smoother. And so, all right, so that's for the Burn PS build. I'll be covering the ordinary build right now. So for any reason, if you don't have the access to the superior rune of aristocracies for the pure PS build, that's completely fine. Not many people like dungeon from the Cataclysm and Explorer mode, or any dungeon in general. I know that for the fact that not many people like playing dungeons. That's perfectly understandable. Or if you don't have enough resources to spend on the sigil of strength, that's completely fine too. So, or maybe you just want to try out the build itself before fully committed into making it making the proper Berserker PS build. That's completely fine. So the build that I have for you guys, if you don't want to go with if you don't want to go with the pure Burn PS, or you don't have the resources to spend on, is the what I usually call it the ordinary Berserker build. Now this ordinary Berserker build is easy to obtain, and it's offer an easier learning curve. The reason for me to be saying that is because it requires you to spend karma, which is easier to get compared to the full Vipers, and you can get them from the Temple of Lisa for the rapid set. Now for the rapid set, which is precision, toughness, and condition damage, and the rune that I have for you guys is the superior rune of Balthazar. Now the superior rune of Balthazar is fairly cheap. It's like 3 to 4 silvers. So it's not really that difficult to obtain. So the full set, which is six of them, so you can pretty much like spend, let's say each of them costs you about like 3 silver. So yeah, it's like what, 18 silver. So it's very easy to obtain, and it's offer a fun and easy way to play. And so for the trinket, if you have the access to the Bloodstone Fan or Ember Bay, you can exchange the tokens for the full Vipers. Sorry, not full Viper, but you can exchange the pack piece, the amulet, the first ring, the accessory to be full Vipers. And for the other two, you can, for the second accessory and for the second ring, you can get Sinisters if you can. Otherwise, I would highly recommend you to go with the hybrid of the Rabbit and the Die, which is precision, toughness, vitality, and condition damage. Or you can go full rampages for the budget options, or full exotic rampages, or full rare rampages. It's entirely up to you. Now for the weapons, if you can, again go with the Vipers. With the Vipers, and the sigil that I am using is either sigil of smoldering, which is increase the burning durations by 25%, sorry, not 25%, 20%. And the sigil of the earth, which is 60% chance on critical hit, it will apply the bleeding condition on the target. So either you can go with the vipers, or you can go with the rampages, or you can go with a rapid. So it's entirely up to you. So if you can, I would highly recommend you to go with vipers. But again, if you can't afford if you don't have the access to the vipers, or you don't want to spend any of your resources on vipers, that's fine. Just go with rampages or the rapid sets. That's completely okay. So for the specializations, it's exactly the same. The first one, the arms specializations, go with the top, middle. Tactics, go with the bottom, and for the berserker, we'll go with the top, middle. So that's pretty much it for the ordinary berserker build. Now, next sections, I will be swapping to my other videos, which I will be covering the rotations. Now, the rotation for the berserker is a little bit unique, and if you can execute it right, you not only will provide your team members with a lot of mind stacks, but it can also provide you with a lot of burning condition damage that you can apply to the foes. And so that's something that you have to keep at the back of your head from time to time. And so I'll be swapping to that video right now, so that I can show you guys what sort of rotation that I usually do in general PvE build, in general PvE. Actually, ignore that, I forgot to mention about the utility. So let me just go ahead and go quickly touch on the utility skill that I'm using for Berserker Warrior in general PvE. Now, for the healing skill, I'm using the Blood Reckoning. Now, the Blood Reckoning is heal myself, and it's not only healing me, it can also gain the adrenaline and recharge on burst skills, which I can continuously using the burst skill for my Berserker. Now, for the first utility skill, I am using the 4 Great Justice. It will provide me with the might and fury, but it can also provide the allies as well. Now, the second utility, I'm using Doyak Signet. Now, the Doyak Signet will reduce incoming damage, but it can also, whenever I activate it, it will provide me with the stability, and it can also break me out stun. So very useful in general PvE build, general PvE environment, where mobs can stun you and also can disable you, and because of that, I like to have the Doyak Signet. Now, the third one is the banner. Now, the banner, there's a variety of banner that you can use. Banner of strength, banner of discipline, banner of tactics, and banner of defense. Now, for me personally, I use the banner of strength most of the time, because it provides me with the improves in power and the condition damage for me and my allies. But you can also go with the banners of disciplines that can increase the precision and ferocity for other people. So it's entirely up to you. But the two most common ones are the banners of strength and banners of disciplines. Banner of disciplines. Now, for the other utility skill that I frequently use is the balance stance. The balance stance will provide me with the stability and swiftness, so I can move from one map to the other faster. Endure Pain, which is take no damage from attacks. Sometimes I use that too, but not that frequent. The other one that I'm using is the Shattering Blow. Now, the Shattering Blow with shatter a rock to gain adrenaline and send out rocks fragments that inflict bleeding to all foes in front of me. And so that's something that I can also provide me with the stability as well, and it only has about 15-second cooldown. So sometimes if I'm by myself, then I will be having the Shattering Blow instead of having the banner. And the other option is to use the White Blow, which is sometimes I have this, but not that too often. And I think that pretty much those are the ones that I'm frequently using for my utilities. So for the elite, I am using headbutt most of the time. Like you see, like most of the time when I'm in general PvE or any other game modes, I use headbutt like 99% of the time. The only exception that I swap to different scenario to utilize the usage of battle standard. Now, the battle standard is the battle standard has the ability to revise the fallen allies and gain fury, might, and swiftness. And it has a 240-second of cooldown, so that's really long. And because of that, I don't usually use that often. But when it comes to a very specific scenario, then yes, I'll be using the balance standard. Otherwise, I'll just stick with my headbutt. And another option for the edit is Signet of Rage. Now the Signet of Rage is 60-second cooldown, so it's a minute. The passive is that it gains adrenaline, but whenever you activate it, it can gain you Fury, Might, and Swiftness. Now I don't usually use that. It's because it's the cooldown compared to the headbutt is, you know, it's 60-second cooldown compared to the 25-second cooldown. So it providing me with the Fury and my stack and etc. and the Swiftness, but again, it's very specific scenario that I'll be using the Signet of Rage. Otherwise, I just stick with the headbutt. So like I said, 99% of the time I'm using the headbutt as my primary elite skill. I also swap to the other ones, but 99% of the time I'm using the headbutt. So alright, so that's pretty much it for my utilities. I'll be moving on to the rotation video so that I can show you what I usually do for my rotations. Now for the last section of this video, I'd like to cover the rotation of my Berserker Warrior build, and because this is just a guideline for you guys to look upon, please don't just treat it as a standard rotation, because in different game modes they will have a different way of playing, and also in the general PvE environment, because you are facing with different factors. For example, mobs may be coming, on the side, or maybe they may be coming ahead of you. Maybe they're coming, around at your back or something like that. And because of that, treat it as a guideline, something for you to keep in mind. So when you do the general PvE, you know what sort of rotation that you should be looking out for, and it's not necessary for you to be, stick to that rotation at all time. It's just something for you to keep an eye on, or keep the back of your head, whatever works for you. And so because of that, I like to devour this last section of my video for the rotations, so that's something that you can keep out. So first thing first, I always start off the step-by-step of my rotation is it goes like this. I always start off with the banner of the strength, and because the banner of the strength will provide me with the improved power and condition damage, and also to my allies as well. And so after I drop that, I then have the sword and my torch to be the first in my rotations. I use skill 2 to leave to a target. Now once I get into the target, right, I use my elite headbutt. Now once I use my headbutt, as you can see in here, my adrenaline reached to maximum, and then I can activate my berserk. Once I activate my berserk, it will give me more damage and also more making me stronger. Once I activate my berserk, I then activate for great justice to give myself might. Once I done that, then I activate my flames of war, which is torch skill 5. Now the torch skill 5 will deal damage to a variety of mobs in the form of burning condition damage, and as you can see in here. Now once I done that, I then activate the torch skill 4, and it would deal burning condition damage to the mob in the straight line. Now once I done the skill 4, I then swap to my longbow. Now once I have my longbow with me, I then, because I do this in one go, and because I explain to you step by step, so I take it a little bit slower. Now once I activate my longbow, as you can see in here, the F1 is went to the Scorched Earth, which is an AoE damage on the straight lines. Now once you activate your straight line like this, it will have the cooldown. So because once you have the cooldown, you need to activate the heal right away. The heal itself will give you the recharge your adrenaline, and so you can spam the F1 skill. Now once you finish spamming F1 skill, you need to drop down a lot, just pump everything in your longbow skill to deal damage to the mobs. And once you finish that one off, you go back into your normal rotations, your leave, and then your skill 5, torch, and etc. Now it's a little bit hard for me to do it like step by step, because like the skill, the rotation doesn't synchronize with everything I do, and so that's just for me to explain to you what it does and how effective it can be. Now I'll go out combat, and when I get back again, I will show you my complete rotation in one go, and that's what I usually do in general PvE. And so just wait until it finishes, blah blah blah, da, 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 da. All right. So it's gone down to 0. Alright, so this time I'll shut up. I won't talk, because the moment I talk, I'll fuck up my rotation. So yeah, So start with this. Start with that. Alright, so that was pretty much my rotation in one go. Now I don't activate my Doyak signet at all unless in its very specific scenario. So previously my footage, I was dealing damage to the boss in one of the meta events map, Dragon Stand, and because of that I didn't have my Doyak with me. But the use of Doyak is stability, and so I cannot be knocked out, etc. and stuff, and it can also break me out of stun. And so I only use the Doyak signet in a specific environment when the mobs have so many AoE spell that can disable me, CC me, stun me, etc. Then I will use the Doyak signet. Otherwise I just keep it on. But please keep that in mind that this is strictly for general PvE purpose. And so that pretty much was it for the rotations. Now I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions about this build, please feel free to give me the comments down below. And if you have any feedbacks about this build, also please give me down below. I'll be seeing you in my next video. Take care, have fun, and don't forget if you have any other feedbacks on my any of my other videos about the general PvE build, please also give me the feedback down in the comment section below. Alright, I'll see you later then.